Hey, board gamers, BJ from Game Gumbo here. I've got my guest, Don Eskridge, the designer of the Resistance Avalon, Abandoned Planet, lots of other games. But that's not what we're here tonight, Don. We want to talk about a book. You've been a board game publisher, and now you're a book publisher. What's your book?
Yeah.
That's the standard question for any author. What's your book about?
What's my book about? It's about games, and not just games, but hand games. So yeah, I thought
Hand Games 21 is the game. Games for friends, family, really
Yeah.
anywhere, anytime. You could have called it anywhere, anytime games, right?
that would have worked too. And actually, I didn't even add the subtitle until very late in the game, and you can see the subtitle isn't even on the cover. So when I was getting ready to do the publishing, I looked up all sorts of like hints and tips, and I found that having a subtitle is a good idea. So I was like, okay, let's do that. So actually, on the inside cover, you'll see that it does say new hand games for friends and families. And so anyway, yeah, it's just a book for people to experience hand games. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yep.
Basically, I spent 2 or 3 years working on this. This was sort of my pandemic game. Everyone had their pandemic project, right?
Sure.
And before,
why do sourdough bread? Write a book instead, right?
Right. But sourdough bread's also great.
It's great.
I think I had the idea, but for like some of these games before I started working on the book, but definitely sort of during that time, I just felt inspired to do something, and got these games together. And I thought, I was just surprised because in the process of making them, I researched online to just find more hand games, and there just weren't nearly as many as I thought there could be, there should be. And I'm sure that I missed a ton. I'm sure that there are umpteen hand games around the world, but I don't know them.
Are you going to start handgamegeek.com, the world's largest board game? I mean, a hand game repository?
Hey, that would be cool. I think there are things like that. I don't think that they're super widely known. But yeah, who knows? Because I think that hand games are really cool. I think that rules themselves are some of the biggest barriers to people playing games, and components, costs. So it's the easiest way for anyone to play games is hand games, other than just word games.
Sure,
I guess
everybody knows rock, paper, scissors, right?
Right.
So the elevator pitch for this book, when I'm leaving the office, I'm telling my paralegal, hey, I'm going to do the show tonight. I've got this interesting guest. He wrote a book about hand games, and she gave me the eye. And I'm like, like rock, paper, scissors, right? Everybody knows that. And she's like, yeah. I said, can you think of another game that you could play with your family and friends with your hands? She's like, I can't think of one. Yeah. I said, well, here's 21. There's 21 games for you right here. So rock, paper, scissors. And the boys on their lacrosse team used to play this game where they'd slap each other's wrists. That's not a game I would recommend to anybody. You know the one I'm talking about? I can't think of the name of it, but
slap each other.
It was like it's one of these Twitch games where if you move first, they could hit your wrist.
Oh, right. So yeah, that game I think is pretty fun. I mean, so long as you don't do it too hard. Like you're just kind of hovering there.
Yeah,
doing that.
What do you call that? Slap, I guess.
Slaps.
Twitch, something. I'm not sure.
We called it slaps, and when there's like bloody knuckles, but that's not a game.
Don't even mention that one.
That's not it. Never mind.
No, but you've got 4 different types of games, right? Bluffing and outlasting. Actually, these are just some of the different types.
Those are just some. Yeah, there are 6 different genres of games. Yeah, so from deduction, cooperative, logic puzzles, sort of survival games, and games where you're trying to build up points. And I think there's one more that I'm missing. So yeah, the whole idea is the friends and families can take this book, and they can be anywhere. They can be at a restaurant, they can be at home, they can be in the car, and they have something to play. Whether it's 2 players or up to 8. There is absolutely a game here for everyone. Whether you like games or not, you're like, if you just like thinking and you like talking, then there's something here that you'll enjoy.
If you could tell 8-year-old Don Eskridge that he finally did design Connect 3, but it's not the game that he worked on in woodshop class, What do you think? What do you think little Dom would say?
I think his mind would be blown and be like, no way. That's tic-tac-toe, bro. That's not it. But so that's actually funny. I hadn't thought about that.
You finally
Connect
did the
4
Connect game. Yeah.
So I did the Connect game.
Okay, so I tried 2 games out. I tried I'm Good. I really like that one. That's a cool, kind of a, how would you call it? A social deduction sort of?
It's a social deduction twist. That's how it's written in the book, and that's how I'd also describe it, because it's simpler than Mafia, but it's also different from Mafia, and also different from Mafia. It doesn't require a narrator. It doesn't. I think someone just said something in Korean. Good, and then
Is that somebody from Korea checking in? Caleb?
Mun Galeb. Yeah, it's Caleb. Mun Galeb.
So you can read that. Okay.
안녕하세요, Mun Galeb.
That's awesome.
So where was I?
So
yeah, I'm good.
I'll tell you, Chat Crew, that one was very easy to teach. Plays up to 8 people. If I remember, we only had 3 or 4, but that was pretty easy to teach. Then I moved on to River Sub, and that one is a little bit more challenging.
Interesting.
The group that I had, didn't quite grok it. These are not people that play games, by the way. So that might have been the challenge. So, but what I liked about all these different games is there's games for every level, right? Simple games you could play in line at the queue at Disney World, to games you could actually play with gamers at a game night. Like, hey, we're waiting for everybody to play while they're setting up a game. Let's get this thing done, right? Or my God, when you're at BGG and you're waiting in line for that hour line to go get your badge. Break out this game and start trying to break out the book and start playing some of the games.
For young kids, like games like 1, 2 Out. Actually, whether it's young kids or almost any group, if there's a group of at least 4 of us or even 3, then I just start with 1, 2 Out, because so I don't think you've played it, but you got a group of, just say for example 4 people.
We could do it right now.
We can. So with just 2, it would be over very quickly. But let's just try it. I think if between us 2, maybe a different game would be better, but just to explain the game. So we're going to say 1, 2 Out, and you're going to show a 0, a 1, or a 2. And I'm going to be the first leader. You don't have to know what that means. Okay. So you ready?
Yep.
1, 2 Out. So show me what you put a 3. So as the leader, you put a 2, and together we're 3.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So 0, 1, 2, 3. Blah! You're out of the game.
That's super simple.
It's super simple. That's the whole game.
So you're sitting there trying to figure out, what is everybody going to do, and how can I jump into that line and get rid of that person so I stay?
Exactly. So you play that with 4 or 5 adults, kids, mixed groups, and everyone's having fun because they're getting knocked out. It's exciting because you're going to have 1 player left, and it takes no time at all.
Okay, here's my question. Are you designing these games as in, okay, I want to design a social deduction game that only uses hands, or I want to design a combat game that only uses hands? Or is it the other way around? You're like, oh, what's cool mechanics and just doing things with the hands? Is it more top down, or is it more bottom up? How are you designing this?
It's definitely both, or maybe even all 3. Like I think about themes, I think about sort of mechanics, like related to hands or not, and also I just look at my hands. I'm just like looking at different things that I can do with them that I haven't like noticed before, and sometimes that'll lead somewhere. And so, like with social deduction games, like that's the genre I'm most known for. And even before making I'm Good, I thought, wouldn't it be neat if there is a social deduction game where you can choose whether you're good or bad? And so I think that's kind of the twist on I'm Good, which is that you get that choice at the beginning of the game. And regardless of whether it's a hand game or not, I don't know of any other social deduction game that lets you choose. And I think that's really interesting because it creates a really neat meta. Because if you're a player who's always choosing to be bad, then when you're playing future games, people are just going to kill you immediately. So you are actually motivated, incentivized to not always choose to be bad, because you want other players to trust you to make it to the last round. So
it's a larger game than just that little instance, because you are necessarily metagaming it in, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's a super meta game.
What about this one? I saw a number stop. Number Stomp.
Yeah, so this one, so a number of the games are inspired by sort of real world games.
Okay.
And Halligalli and Spoons, Egyptian Rat Screw, things like that.
Egyptian Rat. Egyptian Rat Screw. That's one of our I was a scoutmaster for many years, and that's like the number one card game that they play.
Yeah.
By the way, I was scoutmaster for 10 years. I still don't understand the rules of that stupid game. And I play I play like, pretty tough Euro games, and I cannot figure out. I still think still think they're messing with me. Are there really rules to this game?
Absolutely. So basically, if you lay down a number card, it's nothing, and if you lay down Jack, Queen, King, or Ace, then the next player has a number of opportunities to play a face card. So if you play an Ace, then the opponent gets 4 tries. If you play a King, they get 3 tries. Queen, 2 tries. Jack, they get just 1 try, which makes the Jacks awesome. But so if during those those X number of tries, they don't play a face card, you take the stack, which is good. But if anyone plays a double, so the same card that was just played before, then anyone can slap it and take the stack.
I think he's making this up. I really think he's just making it up as he goes along. So can I give you a quick story? A couple of weeks ago, me and my son and a couple of the other Eagle Scouts from 10 years ago got invited to go back on the same camp out that we used to do, where we would train the younger scouts on scout skills. And one of the cool things that when I took over, one of the cool things that we did is we introduced that Saturday night was Cracker Barrel, but what it was just board games. We would bring tons of board games, even Crokinole, and they've been working hard all day, and this is just like Mr. Barry's bringing in all these board games, and that's what we're going to play, right? So as we're doing that, the guys found a deck of cards and they started playing Egyptian Rat Screw. And I'm making my usual jokes about, I don't understand this. Well, the scouts that are in the troop and the Eagle Scout alums, they're not really mixing very much because, they're 10 years apart, right? They don't have, these guys are college. Some of them are married. And then you got all these kids in high school. Well, they wandered over because they were watching them play this cool card game, and they taught them the card game. They ended up playing it. I talked to the scoutmaster later. They ended up playing it all weekend. And so this tradition of a card game that has been going in our troop for like 15 years, because it started before me, is now being passed on to the next generation of these little Eagle Scouts. So I don't know. It just made me think that, hey, I'm not involved in it anymore, but years down the road, these guys are going to be they're going to go, oh no, Troop 10 always plays this game. We got to learn how to play Egyptian Rat. So
I hope so. That's cool.
And that's what is Number Stomp based on?
Number Stomp. I guess in the sense that Egyptian Rat Screw is about reflexes, and noticing the situation at the table, and so is Halligalli,
like a Dutch Blitz type sort of kind of thing. Yeah,
I think the easiest way is just to explain it real quick. So basically, we all say Number Stomp, and then show a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and if you have 2 players, or a stomp, and if you have 2 players, then you use both hands. And then your goal is to call out the highest number that's revealed, but every stomp that any player is showing cancels all of the highest numbers. So,
oh my God, I just got it. Yeah. Every stomp that people show cancels out all of the high numbers. Oh,
so just to show one example. So go ahead and put up anything just to explain one time. Okay. So let's explain 2 different situations. I'll explain 3 different situations. So there's one stomp here. So that cancels the highest number. So that's a 5, right? So that means the highest number is 3. So whoever calls 3 first would win.
Okay.
Now go ahead and change one of yours to a stomp. Okay. So in this case, there are 2 stomps, and that cancels both the 5 and the 3. So whoever yells stomp first wins.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good distillation of that type of game using just your hands.
What is that game that is it Spit that we used to play that was sort of like that, where you're playing cards on the table and you had to, or slap. Some people called it slap, some people called it Spit, and we'd have to slap the cards.
Right. That was pretty fun.
We used to play that.
I haven't played that one in a long time.
Well,
is that
No, go ahead.
Was that the one where you had like a line with 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1?
I don't remember. I'd be lying if I told you. But I remember one summer at camp, we literally played that game all the time, and you'd put it down, and if there was a match of cards, you'd have to slap, and whoever's hand was on the bottom, they would get it. There is a game
Yeah.
that a lot of people play. In fact, my family plays all the time. It's called Dutch Blitz, and they make two different decks. So you can play up to 8 people. And again, it's one of those games where you're watching the center of the table because people are trying to build out. Oh, look, there's somebody, one of the fans of The Resistance. Thank you for checking in, Grace.
Hi, Grace.
We're
that's
playing
actually my mother. That's my mother-in-law.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. I like the picture though. Is that a rock climbing almost?
Yeah, she likes to get out on the rocks.
Well, that's fun. Well, you're playing the cards out, but you're also looking to see what other cards are being played to the center. And if you're quick enough, you can grab those cards. And anyway, I like those kind of. I'm not good at those games because as I get older, the twitch muscles, the twitch flexes, you kind of lose those things. So, all right, Number Stomp is definitely one I'm going to try out there. All right, so if they want to,
and I think like you mentioned like a scout crew. Like I think this would be the perfect type of thing for them to just have around.
Yeah.
If each one person has it in their backpack, then whether you're in a cabin, you're in the woods, you're in a clubhouse or whatever, you just pull this out and you've got games to play all night.
You've got bluffing games, you've got real-time action games, you've got co-op games, you've got them all right there.
That's right.
The name of the book is Hand Games 21, published by Don Eskridge, right?
That's correct. With art by Zak Eidsvoog. I definitely want to mention that. There's just one artist for every game in the book. So like 21 pretty different art styles that Zak has done an incredible job of. And some of them are actually pictures
that
he took. Yeah. So fun art, very evocative. I was super pleased with working with him.
So there were pictures and then he kind of converted them into fun cartoony things.
Exactly. Cool. For some of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. Well, I know that they can find it on like Amazon, right?
Yeah. So the easiest way is just to go to handgames21.com because there's a big link straight on the front page, and that'll lead you to the Amazon site. And I'm now that sort of reviews and things are starting to come up, I'm going to add more links to videos like this one and other people who have reviewed the book so they can kind of check out more information about it.
I'm going to cut up this video just into this section too, so you can just post that up for you. And I've posted it into the comments over there on Facebook and YouTube and in Twitch. It is Hand Games 21. Deadpon has a question for you. Is each hand on the cover from a different artist? No, I think it's all.
No, these are all from Zak Eidsvoog. You can actually check out. I think it's probably zakeidsvoog.com. ZAKEIDSVOOG.com. He's also a board game artist. He does a great job. Totally recommend him. And so, he did all these hands. He did all the pages. And an awesome guy to work with.